It's your boy. Regular upload schedule here. So I thought I'd start your 2019 off with a bit of a bang and upload again on this channel, even though I haven't done that in a long time. I thought with it being the new year, what better way to celebrate than to talk about my top 5 singles that you may not have heard that you probably should listen to. I'm a bit out of breath from doing that intro because walking on this pool table in jeans while squatting, probably not a good idea, but I did it anyway. So the first single I thought I'd tell you guys about is the band Camino's Less Than I Do. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a bit of a fan for alternative pop music, you know, bands like the 1975, Power Waves, and the band Camino perfectly fit that sort of vibe and genre that I like to listen to. They've come out with a few singles not this year anymore, but they came out with a few singles last year that were pretty good, like Know Me and Daphne Blue. But Less Than I Do is the last one they released in 2018, and it's the one I like the most, funnily enough. I just think the lead singer for that band has such a natural, calming voice, you know. It's a crazy voice for that sort of genre. You don't hear a crooner fitting into an alternative pop sort of thing, and you really hear him, you know, embrace his balladry on other singles, but on this one in particular, there's a sort of he flows a bit. It's not a rap breakdown, so to speak, but there is a lot of fast singing on it, and I think it's a really interesting single. And I think if you're a fan of this channel and you're a fan of the stuff I recommend on my Snapchat and Instagram, links in the description if you want to see more of me on social media, yeah, you'll definitely like the band Camino, and you should definitely check out their earlier stuff. I think 2019 is going to be their year in terms of new releases. But the second one I want to recommend to you is another one that you'll probably roll your eyes at because it's so Dylan, but Andy's Room's song Always You. I didn't actually know about these guys for a long time until they came up in my Spotify recently released, like the release radar made for you thing. I was just scrolling through the bands and I was like, Andy's Room, is it going to be a Toy Story pastiche? It wasn't, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. I think it's a really nice, sweet acoustic song that, you know, fits any style and mood. If you're just driving along mid-dusk time of day, then I think it'll fit that sort of chill driving time very well. I can't speak because it's 2 a.m, but yeah, Andy's Room also have music that's also in my ballpark of things I like to listen to. They seem to dabble a bit in pop punk, but I definitely love this Always You acoustic song. It reminds me of stuff like Field Medic and Derek Ted. But yeah, definitely check out Andy's Room and this single Always You. I think it's only 2 minutes. I think you'll really enjoy it. I don't know who I'm talking to, but listen to the song. The other song that fits a similar style and vibe is Matt Carrick's Ruby. Now, if you know Matt Carrick, you know he's the lead singer of the band Citizen, who are really good, and they released a banger of an album last year called As You Please, and the lead singer of Citizen, Matt Carrick, has a acoustic side project under his full name, and he released an album last year called Luna and the Wild Blue Everything, and I thought that came out in 2017, honestly, but finding out that it came out last year, it's definitely in my top 20 of the year. It's honestly so good. But yeah, he released a single off his 2019 upcoming album, which I also think is called Ruby. Don't quote me on that. But the song itself is fantastic, honestly. It's it reminds me of something that you'd sing by the campfire, you know, at a non-lame, like non-church camp. You know, you'd be sat around the fire and old mate from Cabin C would bust out his acoustic and you'd be like, oh god damn it, he's gonna play Wonderwall again. But then he busts out Ruby and you're like, hey, this guy can sit at our table for lunch today. And yeah, I honestly appreciate Caracas's lyricism so much. He invokes such a nostalgic vibe. There's lyrics on there that talk about, I haven't talked to your brother in so long, I'm stood on your front porch talking to him. I butchered that, but yeah, you listen to it and you just think, God damn, this reminds me of when I used to hang out with people and talk to their brothers. It's a very niche feeling, but if you remember standing on someone's front porch talking to their brother, then there you go. But yeah, Caracas's song Ruby, definitely give that one a listen. And if you've missed out on his first ever EP or Lunar and the Wild Blue Everything from last year, give them a listen. I highly recommend hearing Riding in Your Car, Canvas #3 or Canvas number 3, or Canvas #3 for life, and Bosque Verde. Like, honestly, that album is so good. It stuns me that it came out last year because I swore it came out in 2017. But another single I have to recommend to you is sort of different. This one's Nothing Nowhere. He dropped his song Doubt, and man, like, I've been a fan of Nothing Nowhere for so long. I really appreciate his blending of emo and hip hop so much. He manages to weave in all these really sick, slick guitar lines into his songs, and honestly, his best stuff isn't even on Spotify. His first ever self-titled EP, well, LP really, it's a long play, is one of my favorite albums ever because it's so passionate for such a really small SoundCloud rapper. He breaks out of that scene so much because most of the people in the SoundCloud rap scene like to, copy their own contemporaries, whereas Nothing Nowhere really does his own thing, and I think that's brilliant. But unfortunately, with his music also comes a heap of anxiety and a heap of, mental illnesses such as depression that he weaves into his lyrics, and this song Dread is certainly one of those. So if you have a bit of a weak stomach when it comes to dealing with songs that touch on mental health a lot, then maybe skip this one. But for me, I thought it was a really cathartic listen. He speaks about having to skip out on his most recent tour, having to cancel it because the anxiety got too much, and how he feels like a specimen being examined because he's always, being recommended a new treatment, a new way of medicating himself to deal with his mental health stuff. And honestly, I appreciate honesty in music so much that Nothing Nowhere are one of my go-to artists because, yeah, he touches on really important topics, and I appreciate that so much. And yeah, there's really no one out there doing that sort of thing like him. I love Peep so much, and I miss him, God rest his soul, but, he didn't ever touch on mental health as much as Nothing Nowhere does in his music, so give him a listen. So I think that's 4. Matt Caracas, Ben Camino, Nothing Nowhere, Andy's Room. There was another one. There was a 5th. We returned from your regularly scheduled jump cut done in the Adobe Premiere app on my iPhone for the 5th single that I was going to talk about because I had to check the notes on my phone because I have a poor short-term memory. That single is Are You in the Mood by Bay Faction. Bay Faction are so crazy to me. I found them just on the recommended section on my YouTube, just going through random singles of really small alternative bands, the ones that pop up in those indie playlists with 2,000 songs. And yeah, I've been a fan of Bay Faction for a long time. Their original EP that had stuff like Sasquatch 22, Jasper Wildlife, all that sort of stuff, amazing. And they've made a bit of a comeback in 2018 with a new album, but also a few singles as well. They really caught my attention. They had me on the ropes when they dropped Pendulum in 2017, but Are You in the Mood definitely had me hyped to see what was coming up next. And Are You in the Mood isn't off their new album, Florida Guilt, but you should definitely hear Florida Guilt. But yeah, it's the vibe the Bay Faction go for is such a interesting one. It's the kind of sex in a hazy weed smoke filled room, shopping carts at 3 in the morning, you know, putting your friends in them and dropping them down a hill, playground swings as the sunrise sort of vibe, you know, youth at its youthiest, so to speak. And honestly, I adore it. I adore their aesthetic so much. I think it's a really important one for people our age to listen to and identify with, because it just reminds us, you know, to borrow my favorite quote from that really shitty indie movie, you know, you're the youngest you'll ever be, so this music really, really helps you just get in touch with that side of yourself. And Are You in the Mood definitely touches on the sort of more sexual nature of teenagers, people my age, but even though there may be, you know, a bit of a salty lyric, lyric here and there, I still think that their aesthetic is so clean and fresh and just worth hearing, you know. You don't get many bands like Bay Faction that just capture so well the spirit of being young and the spirit of just having the world at your fingertips. But yeah, Are You in the Mood? Definitely worth listening to. And if you haven't caught their new album, Florida Guilt, definitely check that out. The self-titled song off that album absolutely blows my mind. But yeah, that's 5 singles from last year that you should listen to. That was Andy's Room, Always You, Nothing Nowhere, Dread, Bay Faction, Are You in the Mood, Band Camino, Less Than I Do, and the fifth one was Matt Caracas's Ruby. So yeah, check out those 5 singles. Just some honorable mentions off the top of my head while I'm sat here. Either Matt Maker had singles leading up to their new album from last year, new EP, the Comfort singles off their new album, the singles leading up to Trench from 21 Pilots were absolutely amazing. But yeah, check out those 5 bands I recommended and the singles that they dropped. They're all on Spotify, I'm pretty sure. I'll link to the songs if they have YouTube links in the description, as well as my social medias, as well as Scene, the magazine I write for. But yeah, thank you for sticking around this long in the video if you have. I hope 2019 goes alright for you. I hope I upload more than like 4 times in 2019, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get reminded when I upload in 2024. And I'll see you in the next video. I was going to try and double salute them, but I just rubbed my hands through my hair. So, bye-bye.